Now that we've looked at a good model of how to write your press release, of how to write a good argument, we're going to go through and I'm going to show you what you are now going to do and what your assignment will be for today. So some of you are going to be doing subclaim 2 and some of you will be doing subclaim 3. You will see that when you go to Google Classroom. So whichever subclaim you get, that is the subclaim that you will do. You will have a document that looks like this, and it will tell you step by step what you need to do. So your subclaim will be listed right in the middle. Subclaim 2 is different than subclaim 3. For subclaim 2, you are using a bacteria called B. fragilis. So you are going to see that there is, in subclaim 2, there is a place where you are going to be able to go and find your evidence. So if I look at what I'm going to do in order here, so number 1, I'm going to fill out the sense-making tracker for B. fragilis. So if I go to that sense-making tracker, you can see right here, and this will be included for you in Google Classroom, you're going to go to the activity, okay? This is an Amplify lesson 2.6. You're only going to need activity 2 and activity 3. You have to pay attention though, because in the Amplify, in that area, there's also the subclaim 3 information. So make sure you're sticking with whatever subclaim you have. For this one, it's bacteria B. fragilis. The other one is L. reuteri. So you don't want to read the article about L. reuteri if you're doing subclaim 2. So on your sense-making tracker, you have the question that we're trying to solve, and you have right here, I went ahead and put where you go to find your evidence. So you are going to put this information in, what did we figure out, put proof of where you found that information, and then you will use this sense-making tracker to then go back, and like I showed you on the examples we've been looking at, then you're going to go back to your reasoning tool. So after you do the first one, the sense-making tracker, then pull up the reasoning tool. When you pull up the reasoning tool, you're going to fill this information in, just like we practiced with the first one. Why does this information matter? Remember, this middle section is the connection. So what is important about this? How do I connect this all together? After you do the reasoning tool, you're then ready to write your press release. So after you've done number 2, look at number 3. Use that information from your reasoning tool, from your sense-making tracker that you put in the reasoning tool, and now write your press release. Here's the rubric. It's like what we just looked at with the model example that we looked at and that you practiced with, and you can use that to help to guide you. And you can also look back at that first example, and that will help you to write your press release. And you are going to include the information from the rubric and then submit your press release. Make sure you submit your reasoning tool and submit your sense-making tracker. All 3 of those will be scored, and that will be a grade. So you want to make sure you're going to have 3 separate grades, one for each one of those. And one last thing, if for some reason Amplify isn't working, the articles and the charts, the experiments are also in Google Classroom, where you can go back and you can look at them there as well. So there shouldn't be, if you're having technology problems, there should be no excuse for why you can't find that information, because it will all be right there in Google Classroom. All right, you can go ahead and get started.